CBC looking for a book that creates a bridge, or they're a lot into their false hope because they they still rebel against reality, right? Having conversations about the reality of the human condition. Like, here's something I'll tell you is, imagine a world where there's these two countries at war and they're, don't have to imagine too much, and they have, let's say, different religions, okay, and different holidays for these religions. And let's say one of the sides at war decides, without saying anything, that they'll stop bombing on a day of the enemy's religious holiday. And then a day or two later, they'll ask, hey, did you guys notice anything on that day? And they'll say, well, you didn't bomb us on that day. We appreciate it. Now, let's say the conversation kind of ends there. It doesn't say, well, we kind of expect the same, or don't you think that we're good people compared to you? There's no more conversation. It's just, hey, did you notice? Yes, we noticed. That's it. Okay, now it's possible for the next holiday of the other side that the other country with a different religion, majoritively, will also do the same, but they won't say or brag, so they'll just kind of do it too. Now you would think, oh my God, the human spirit, oh my God, there's so much hope, and they won't talk about it or brag. Now that's super rare that they won't kind of raise themselves up by not bombing, but do you know that it's kind of extremely ignorant and insane to believe that there's positivity in one day of no bombing as a sign to show we're humans? You're still not humans, okay? And no matter how this scenario would manifest. Now, let's say the Iranian government finds the down pilot, and then it's found by a civilian, let's say, and they don't harm him, and let's say he's hurt, but he's kind of taken care of. And then they arrange for they don't arrange with like a deal or exchange or anything. They just arrange for a safe kind of transport. It might not even be the Americans that bring them, just somebody brings them to the American. Everything is safe. And they don't kind of talk about it. They kind of see if it's going to be in the news or whatever. Do you think the USA would kind of see this gesture as something that is, appreciated or worth kind of repeating as a type of role modeling? It's not very likely. Plus, the USA is kind of not really leading this as much as the other kind of insanely religious type of culture that thinks it's God's gift to this planet is, Zionists, right? So I don't believe that's likely. Okay, I believe it's the scenario I told you before is extremely unlikely, and this one is extremely unlikely, and maybe even more because of Zionists, okay? Because they're gone. They're gone. The USA, the Zionists, they believe that one of theirs is worth 1,000. So if harm comes to one of theirs, they'll, kill 1,000 or something. Now, if no harm is come or someone is saved, do you think they'll save 1,000? As a way to show, and again, the insanity of the species I share DNA with. So this is not likely to happen, even if Iranians do this. There's no lesson of morality that the USA's manifest destiny elites can learn from, and there's no more lesson than Zionists, the regime in Israel can learn from. So, but even if they did, which is extremely unlikely, you do realize that's still not enough to call any of you humans, right? To insult me by saying that you're like me and you're an Homo sapien with sentience and sapience.